Welcome to App Design Tips. I'm going to show you how to convert your sketch projects to Adobe XD. And why would you want to do this? Why not? Over the years, Sketch has been a great platform to design in, but it's been feeling a little bit bloated with tons of options everywhere. I'm going to show you an example right here. So just when I click on this component right here, inside of here, we can see that it has a number of different overrides. It starts to feel really complex and difficult to use. And one of the biggest reasons why I like to use Adobe XD over Sketch is because Sketch's prototyping is very limited. So much so that most people default to the Envision or Craft plugin to prototype their sketch designs. And so you have to use two tools, whereas Adobe XD has the rich animation prototyping. Now, I first want to show you this sketch project and show you the ingredients that are making up these artboards. Kind of show you what's going on here so we can get you familiar with how that conversion process works. So this design was done. You can find a link in the description below to the designer that designed this Instagram template. And if we come in here, let's just click on a few items here so you can see that there are a few components right here. This is a component, or in Sketch they're called symbols. And down here we've got a group. So if we drill into here, we've just got some basic layers here for a photo and a mask layer. And then we have here, we have a main component with some components inside of it. So we can see different icon components. So there are components, there are nested components, and if we click on some of these text items here, we can see that there are some styles. So profile count text, the star shows that there's an override. So that's kind of how some of the layers are inside of here. And we can go into the symbols page right here, and we can see all of our symbols. So here are all the icons that are symbols, and then these are the symbols within symbols. These are nested symbols. So that's kind of the ingredients of what we're going to be converting. And if we go back to this page here, you can also see that we have these things prototyped. So if I click here, we can see all the prototyping that's going on. So let me tell you a little bit about what I mean about how limited prototyping is in Sketch. So if I click on this preview icon right here, we have some things right here, like we can drill into the story and that slides down. And ideally we want that to slide back up. And so if we hit this close, we'd want it to slide back up. But instead we only have the option for the other artboard to slide back up on top of it. So it's just very limited. All we have is some slide or instant transition or just a crossfade. So here we can go to the search or the home. It does have sticky elements right here, so we can see that we can scroll down and our footer is sticky at the bottom. And another thing that I really don't like with prototyping in Sketch is that you can see right here, this is one master component. And I'll zoom into here. And if I want this this icon right here to link to somewhere else, I can't actually do that. I have to link the whole component. So if I hit W, it'll give me a wire to link this master component into any one of these artboards. But if I click right here and I want to hit W, it still does this master component. So there's no way within this artboard to link just this guy over here. If you're enjoying this video and you want to learn more like this, I have a complete tutorial on Adobe XD bringing you up to speed fast. In this tutorial, we're going to take a hands-on approach to designing an app from scratch. And so I'm going to cover the essentials and the interface of how Adobe XD works. We're going to cover prototyping, and in the very end, you're going to have a rich interactive prototype that you can show off. If you're interested in this course, I have a steep discount in the link below. Just go ahead and click on that link and that discount is applied. It'll give you 80% off. And you can see the different animation options right here. If you go into prototyping, there's only animate from right, bottom, left, or top. So that's it. That's all you get. And now if I want to link some of these guys right here to specific pages, I have to drill in to that actual master component. And then I have to say this home component, now that I can drill in, now I can decide that this goes to the Instagram feed 1. This one, for example, goes to search. And this one goes to our notifications. And so we can do that this way, but the problem is that'll do that universally through all of these components, but you can't decide that like this heart specifically is going to go to a different page and override that prototyping link. Now, enough about why you would switch. Let's get to that conversion process, and it's very, very, very simple. So I'm just going to save this inside of Sketch, and let's go ahead and close Sketch right here. And I have that file right here on my desktop. So to convert this file into Adobe XD, Instead of dragging and dropping symbols, adding text, things like that, all we do is right click, open with Adobe XD. It's that simple. Now, this took about 5 seconds and the conversion process is complete. So let's drill in and take a look at how Adobe XD converted this file and see how accurate of a job it did. So first I'm going to come over here into the master components. So we can see all the master components are right here and the pages here are up above. So I'm going to just zoom in to some of these components here. And out of all the symbols in Sketch, they maintained all of the master components. So I can click right here. If I right click, I can reveal this in my assets panel. And you can see it's right here. So I can reuse that anywhere that I want. And because this is Adobe XD components, the icons are very stretchy. It's very nice. And if we come over here, we can see that we have one master component and we have child components in here. So it keeps the same nesting that Sketch created. So here, this is nested and I can override this component here. I can reposition it, do anything I want, and it doesn't affect any of these icons over here. If I come back to the bar's bottom bar component, then it actually did change everything because this is the master component. So I'm going to undo that here. And now let's just do that again. So this is a child component, and I can move these things around right within here. So I can move any objects that I want without affecting this master layer. So we have that flexibility now in Adobe XD, and it looks like the conversion was really good here. We can see that everything looks really accurate. We still have the editing ability within here, so we can come in here and edit all of the SVG icons. And let's take a look at how image masking works here. So I'm going to go into the layers panel right here, and we can see that this is an image. If I double click inside of here, there's a folder that's made up inside of this component, and there's an image and a mask. So we can select the mask right here and this image. So right here, we're starting to see that it interpreted it a little bit differently. So this mask is not being used. But if you want to use these two as a mask, all you have to do is maybe bring this shape right above here. Select both of these, go into Object, and Mask with Shape. And now we have that masking right here. So there might be a little bit of work with the masking, but we can see the look of it was all retained. And then if you want to edit it, you might have to make some tweaks to the masking. But right here, we actually have a child component inside of the page. So we can see that the master component is right here. And I want to show you just with this component. Let's zoom in here. Then we can make some changes within here. So I can come in here, make this wider, and that's great. But if I want to leave it how it is, I can come over here and just make this one wider. And I can override the size of just this. I can drag this over, and let's come over here, and let's say that we have 100 comments, because that is far better than one. And let's just do 1,000 likes. And then we just stretch this to fit, something like that. And we have our new notification here. Now let's take a look at how the prototype converted. So if we jump in here, I'm just going to zoom in to these artboards, and let's just hit play here. And we can see first off that we can't scroll our artboards. We haven't set the viewport height. So this behaves a little bit differently in Sketch and XD. So all we have to do is just select all of our artboards just like this, go into Design, and we want to hit scrolling vertical, and let's set a viewport height at 812 because an iPhone's height is 812 pixels, and anything below that we've got to scroll. So here we've got our Instagram now that's instantly scrollable, and we've got everything linked. So if we want to jump into our stories, it has those same transitions that we created in Sketch. So right here we can go to someone's profile, and you might notice that we don't have a footer menu right here. And that's down here, and that's because Sketch has a similar feature, fixed position when scrolling, but Sketch fixes it to the bottom of the artboard, and Adobe XD will fix this to the bottom of the viewport height. So we need to just bring this right above, sitting on top of this viewport line right here. And so now when we scroll, it's instantly scrollable. I'm just going to go ahead and resize this down right here, and let's just leave that right here to take a look at. So now let's do a little bit more exploring. We can go into Instagram TV, jump back, and everything looks good, but now we have much richer features for prototyping, so let's take advantage of them. First, I showed you how we could only link one master component. If we go into prototype, we can only link this entire thing somewhere else unless we go to that actual master component. Well, in XD, we can right click on this and we can go into our master component, which is right here, and we can see that there's some things linked up here. I'm going to remove that. But any of these icons right here that are a master component, you still have the power of universally applying links to a page. For example, home will link here, and let's have search. Let's find that search icon, and this will link right here into the search page. And now if we go to any one of these pages, those links right here are wired in all of them. And so that's working really well here. And we can also make individual links right here. So this is a nested component. This wasn't possible in Sketch to drill down in there and link, but because we have the power of Adobe XD prototyping, we can just drag that right in here. I don't want to link that one actually. I want to link this one right here, right in here. So you can set individual links that are overridden from those master components, but you still have the power of applying those in the master component. And then things like this. So if we go into, like, let's say search, we want this to just be an instant transition. And let's have Instagram TV be an instant transition as well. So let's take this up into the TV, and we can do that. And now here, we can set the Instagram stories. It's already going and linking right here. So we can select this wire, and we want this to slide down. And then if we hit this close right here, I'm going to drill right into here. So let's remove this link, drill into the close. And I want this to, when we tap it, to go to the previous artboard. And so that's going to reverse that transition and behave the way that we wanted. Now we tap here and it links here, and we tap here and it links there. So let me just finish this real quick. I'm going to remove this, double click on this X, and we'll have this close as well, so previous artboard. And instantly we can see we can toggle between the stories. And now instantly if we go back to home right here, we have this Instagram TV. This will show up. Now the back, it'll go back, but we want to actually change some things here. So I'm going to remove that link that we've got from Sketch, double click right here, and we just want this to go back to the previous artboard. And so now let's try that once more. Click here, slides in. Now that reverses the transition. So that's perfect. Now check this out. We can go in here, we can see this, we hit X, it goes back, or we can reverse the artboards. So we're making some good progress here. And maybe I want this one right here, this element to be fixed position when scrolling. And so now when we scroll right here, it's going to fix. I'm going to select all of these right here, group them, and then we'll fix this position when scrolling. So there we go. And we'll bring that to the top. Perfect. There we go. And as you can see, the conversion process is very good, but you do have to drill in and see if there's some quirks, because every project is different. But this is going to save you hours and hours of trying to manually convert something, and you get that extra flexibility and power of auto-animating your prototypes. Now, I'm also going to create another video talking about how you can convert your Sketch libraries into an Adobe XD library, so you can check that out here when it's ready. I hope you enjoyed this tip. If you did, please subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified of future videos.